somewhere west of Blairgowrie at the moment, and we're on the trail for the mystical Glasclune Castle. Now, we think it's that, you might be able to see it, little object up in that main cluster of trees. There seems to be some stonework. It's quite hard to pick out exactly what it is, but we think that's our best bet to go with just now. We don't actually know an awful lot about Glasclune Castle, unfortunately. I didn't really do much prior research other than find it on the map. I think there's only scant information on Wikipedia anyway. All we know is there's basically just 2 walls of it left now. But we're still looking forward to finding it, and hopefully as well we can find this bonus castle that Simon also found on the map. We're not promising on that one, but we're definitely going to find the Glasclune Castle.
On our way towards Glasclune Castle, we've come across something a bit ancient in the area, a bit of a fossil as it were, because the castle itself was protected by a now extinct species of giant millipede, of which you can see one lays fossilised in this field.
Okay, so we've actually come up to what we saw from down in the valley there, thinking this would be Glasclune Castle, but remember we talked about maybe going to see a bonus castle. Actually, we don't know for certain, but we think this might be the bonus castle. We're sorry, we don't know what it's called. Do you remember what it's called, Simon?
That's not all I remember.
The Big D bonus castle is what it's called. But we think this might be it because it doesn't match the pictures of what we were looking for Glasclune, but it's nevertheless quite cool on its own. It's clearly been a kind of a keep or some kind of battlement or something, because you can see there's not those windows there, there's a wee hole to place a gun through there, and there's a lot of walls going around, defensive walls. It's on a high position, you get a good look around the surrounding area, so it must have been a castle of some description, but we're just not 100% on it being the one that we actually came looking for. As many of you now know, I've acquired a smartphone, and using this ingenious device I've been able to get onto the internet. Now, what I've been able to find out about this actually, it's called Drumlochy Castle, and I believe it was founded by Kenneth MacAlpin, who was I think the first King of Scots in the 10th century. Now, he founded this castle first when he came back from a European pilgrimage. Such highlights of his tour were going through to Paris to see Charlemagne, and also he went down to Greece with Hercules.
Right, so we've been tracing through this woodland for ages, and if you look at the other side of the river, we found it. That is Glasclune, what is it called again?
Glasclune
Castle over there, and all we have to do is negotiate this gorge and then climb the steep slope to get there. So, victory is in sight, but the battle has not yet been won. It kind of reminds me a bit of trying to find the Temple of God all over the woodland. It isn't quite as severe.
You can see why it was a well defensible position. We'll get a better idea when we get to the top, but if you were coming to attack this castle, I can tell you it wouldn't be much of an easy trip up that hill. Oh well, this hasn't been so good. Ever since we left the bonus castle, we've encountered electric fences, wacky woods, evil looking sheep. Simon's had an injury to his hand that might see it being amputated. And we've got this river to cross. Simon's going to try and climb across that. That can only end badly. And I don't even know what I'm going to attempt to do. I might just jump and hope for the best. Well, Simon's trying to climb across this now. Hitting all the difficulties by the looks of things. Whatever will he do next?
It's not too bad, this is the way I came across.
No.
Let's see. There we go. Done. Just about.
But can he get down?
Yes, I can.
Indeed. Now we're just to negotiate the mystical blue tarpaulin and the slopes of hell.
Here we go, we've scaled the hill.
Yep, we finally found it. Glasclune Castle in all its glory, all its remaining glory. And I think, yeah, it's pretty impressive. obviously we just sort of saw Glasclune Castle remains of on the map. Thought, why don't we come and check it out? Not much prior research, but we've found it, and I think that's really quite an achievement considering what we'd just been through. We didn't see it on film, but we had to climb up a huge steep hill with lots of nettles and things. You had to actually fight your way through, stuff pinging back in your face. Honestly, in terms of videos, one of the most difficult actual things to come and find, but we found it, and yeah, it feels a real sense of achievement, so I can't wait to go exploring around it.
We're inside the ruin now. A rather precarious bit of a wall sits over there. If you ever played Red Dead Redemption, that reminds me of one of the big rocks you find in Mexico, only without the sunshine and glorious golden sand surrounding it.
What's your obsession with making distinctly Scottish things, you know, with an American comparison?
Cause
the American highway, this is not something you see in Monument Valley, with carefully laid out stones one on top of the other.
Quit your bitching.
Anyway, unfortunately, this is about as far as you can actually get into the castle, because it is full of rocks and it's full of this stuff. So it's not really a walk around kind of place, unfortunately. But you still get a good impression if you come up onto the rocks here.
Andrew's found his way around to the Great Mexican Rock, which I'm sure he'll resent me saying. There'll be a big rant, but he's too busy climbing up stuff to care what stupid shit I'm saying about his mother. I'm not really talking about his mother.
It's not actually a particularly easy climb. In fact, as you can see, I'm very badly, awkwardly doing it.
This could end in broken bones right here. It kind of looks like you're crucified just there in the camera.
Right.
Anyway, so we've got some interesting features just there. I'll show you some of them. A nice window. There's that tree Andrew was talking about. Some more windows and an additional, I suppose, gun hole up there. I don't really know my castles, so I will shut up because nobody wants to hear me talk.
Here we are on the top of the mountain. That's the stream down here. Very high up, sort of defensible position. And have a look at more of this Glasclune Castle, but Simon wants to show us something.
Exactly. I've got the torch out, so you know what that means, don't you? We found something underground. That's going to be a massive letdown. Stick the camera in there, so I'm not going to attempt to go in there, but we thought we found something underground, but it turns out just to be, I'm guessing, some kind of storage bit. I don't know.
It could just be a collapse that's somehow managed to look nice and square like that.
Oh well. So everything around here, all these rocks with holes in them, which don't seem to go anywhere. There's more of it just here. And this is all part of a collapse. I'm not quite sure when it happened, but it was mentioned on the some of the research we did for this place. So this is what the collapse looks like next to one of the more substantial towers.
So that's the bulk of Glasclune Castle over there, but I'm standing right in front of this big cylindrical keep here, which is quite interesting. I prefer it over here actually because there's less crap in the way. I see a lot of these bits that are clearly part of the wall that have just collapsed over time. It's nice up here. It's quite high up, very defensible, so I can see. Unfortunately, I didn't do the research on it, but I don't know what purpose it would have served, but I'm certainly sure it wouldn't have been easy to take down, not with a slope like that. The only obvious way up would be over there where it's a little bit flatter. It is nice up here, and I'm glad we found it. It was probably a bit touch and go at one point, and we were considering that the bonus castle is in fact Glasclune, but we found out otherwise. We actually found out the name of that was Drumlochy Castle. So we'll stop calling it the bonus castle now. Just when you thought this place couldn't get any better, it actually got blackberries here as well. So it not only is rewarding in and of itself, but it feeds you for the effort for coming up here. Not many of them actually look at fight, but I'll go with this. No, I won't actually.
Give it up, they're all shite.
No. Not much of it. Not ready. Glasclune Castle, definitely one of our more interesting adventures. definitely a shorter sort of day. It was just let's see what's on the map, let's have a look and try and find it, and we did. It's really quite impressive what it is, so I'm chuffed with that. Very difficult to get to, especially in the latter stages. We found our way to be quite steep, full of nettles, and just generally a slippy, horrible place. But that all together just made it more of an achievement from getting up here in the first place. And I would rate it quite highly. I'd give it a thumbs up.
I would also give it a thumbs up.
So Simon, what have you got to say about this bridge?
Oh yes, hello there.
Carry on.
Anyway, we're at the Aberbothrie Bridge, and what makes this one interesting is that it's clearly been an old stone bridge that at some point been destroyed by floodwaters. It's like it was sort of built in metal stand in the middle. So that's the sort of
That's quite nice. Well done put together. Right. I suppose there's only one road left ultimately.
well, there's two, but the more difficult route.
Aye. Well, I'm going to go up here anyway, and hopefully all will be okay. Okay.
Here's Andrew at the other side of the Aberbothrie Bridge. Oh, like a difficult climb, was it?
Aye, that was pretty difficult, but I feel really accomplished. I hope you got the whole span on the camera there. Was there any technical faults or anything that cut it with?
No, of course not.
Well, probably one of the scariest moments of my life coming over there, but thankfully I made it.